Alright. Let's just get a quick little 3D, 4D, 5D. See what's going on right now. Collective, what is the most important storyline here? Switching it up a little bit today. I'm going to be using the Odyssey deck and my Goddess deck. I need to replace the map for the Odyssey deck. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that too. Where is it? You know what? I'm gonna be right back. Alright. Let's reset this, huh? Alrighty. Alright. Oh, I feel better already. Ha. Wait. Alright, I gotta switch this to instrumental. Oh. That's some funny shit. Alright, let's cleanse that out. Some of my divination oils here. Let's get this cleared out, huh, y'all? That's what I need accent on my giant forehead. Call it my solar panel, man. Call it my solar panel. Alright, so let's go ahead and get back into this, right? Dude, if you guys live in the area, South Carolina, Port Royal, the Zen Den, they have an amazing sale going on Sage and all that right now, so definitely go hit that up if you are from around here. Let's get a shadow card, an oracle card. I'm not going to read from the books today. I'm just going to go for it. Ooh. Atonement and Downcast Pride. So many cards. Atonement and Downcast Pride. Ooh. Mountain Strength. Oh, Dream Magic. All right. 3D, 4D, 5D. Universe got jokes. Oh. This deck was sticking out of the shadow card deck. Or this card. Alright, I'm going to get into those in a minute. I'm going to read those. Because this deck has its own interpretations for the, yeah, they're cards. Oh, jumping the gun, jumping the gun. 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. The Odyssey deck. I love that deck. If you can put all the number cards in order, and you will end up with a map, the Mariner's map. Alright. Dokey Smoky Chokey. Let's see what we got going on here. Alright. So, you're already starting out with 6-6 here. You got 6 of Swords followed by 6 of Hearts, right? So it's a lot of, like I said, I always say the rite of passage with the 6 of Swords, right? So there's a lot of, yeah, releasing the past and moving forward. And with the 6 of Hearts here, I just get the sense of trying to release it with love. There's the 10 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles. There's definitely some thoughts around establishing some sort of structure for wealth, right? And really putting energy and focus into that, right? This main line here is talking about this guy, right? I'll even get it out, right? So let's see. The Jack of Clubs. All right. So we got the Jack of Clubs. Education. Navigation was an enormous part of the early modern period for the future was promising for young dreamers in search of a connection between the earth and the sky. Improvements in mapping and ship design led to the acceleration of travel. By the mid-17th century, Europe had become advanced in the art of map and cartography, creating the most accurate maps for travelers looking to face the wilderness and bring back valuable resources to home and country. The Mariner's Map. I love it, actually, because the Mariner's Map is my whole globe Earth argument. The only way that map works is if the Earth is round. So, for this person who's trying to navigate this 3D timeline, they're working on releasing the past, right? With as much ease as possible, right? Trying to be nostalgic about it, remember the good without getting attached to it, trying to establish new stability with wealth and things like that. Really focused on building that up, right? And then at the end here, we have the Queen of Clubs here, right? And the Queen of Clubs is all about appropriation. Once a ship was captured, it was stripped of its impractical embellishments and thoughtfully adjusted to increase speed. Smaller vessels could hide more easily, but held less firepower and storage space, while the larger vessels could carry more merchandise, firepower, and crew, but were not as fast and nimble. A successful pirate cruise with a small ship would then trade up, but most pirates would remain with 1 to 2 ships. There's definitely a lot of, and I feel like the focus here is, right, appropriating ideas, right? We all learn off each other, right? That's why you have role models, right? That's why you get obsessed with watching a certain person or a certain thing. What you want to see how they're doing what they're doing, right? The appropriation, right? But then there's the trick here, like, what kind of ship do you want? Do you want a large ship with a big crew with, all the extra storage space? You're able to accumulate a lot more if you can catch another vessel, right? Or do you want to keep the smaller ship? Or both. Use the smaller ship to take on the other ships and then use the bigger ship to come in after. Right? It's all about and I feel like it's a lot of research and education and using ideas, right? And I always say that with everything, you look for, that is the point of research and education, right? You see how everybody's doing different things, and then you learn how to adjust it to work for you. All right, what does the 40 have to say about this? The 40 has to say, when it comes to appropriating other people's ideas, ask yourself genuinely, was it truly your idea? I'm not even going to get into that. It's fine. In your heart of hearts, was it genuinely your idea, right? I get a lot of stuff about the cards and coffee and things of that nature and everything else like that, and who came up with it first and this, that, and the other thing. And, for me, it's the monkey and the hammer. What? Multiple people have the same idea. It's the frequency, right? Everybody's looking for creative ideas and everybody's tapping into that frequency. And sometimes, right, 2 monkeys on different islands come up with the same idea to use something like a hammer to break open something, right? That's the monkey and the hammer story. But this is also about, with the justice, is definitely being honest with yourself. It's being honest with yourself, but it's not being cruel to yourself, right? Don't be cruel. Don't feel like, I don't know. With it following after this justice card, it's just, I'm getting that thing. It's not what they call you, it's what you answer to, right? And I also got that feeling too, right? With the readings that I did the other day, and it's like, people are like, oh, you're bashing this, whatever, you're man bashing or whatever it was, right? And it's like, no, I wasn't. But if you felt like that, right? When you're watching a tarot reader or you're watching anything or you read a post and you assume it's about you, the only way that you can assume it's about you is if some little tiny piece of your heart knows that you could have been perceived that way, right? I could have been perceived that way. Oh, I did kind of, even if you didn't mean it that way, even if it wasn't your intention, you can see how you were perceived that way. And that's when you allow this cruelty to come in, right? And people to be like, oh, you stole people's ideas, things of that nature. That's what I'm really picking up on, right? So if you didn't genuinely steal somebody's idea, don't let that anxiety beat you up, right? I also got the image in my mind, I forget what video it was, but it was talking about, I mean, just think about how many different types of bread there is when you go to the bread aisle, right? There's a whole aisle dedicated to nothing but loaves of bread in different recipes, in different shapes, bags, whatever, in different shapes and forms and everything else. And it's like, well, if you wanted to be a baker, then be a baker, right? You're still baking bread. You're still making the same thing everybody else is making, but you need to find a way. You know what I'm saying? As long as you find a way that you've done it originally to, your specific brand, and don't worry about it, right? And that's what I think the science, the Six of Swords here, right? What? Don't be mad that you figured out the algorithms better and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't be mad at yourself for, putting in the education for it, right? Six of Swords is also a lot about education, right? We got the Two of Cups here. That's definitely when you align yourself with what it is that you really like to do. You align yourself here with the connections that you need to make, right? And, what brings you into balance here. The Temperance card, right? Brings you into alignments with connections that bring you into balance. A more truer version of yourself, right? What does the 5D have to say? The 5D has the Eight of Cups here, right? There's definitely energies that need to be released, let go of, left in the past, put into different perspectives. Trying to think of. There is also just a bit of a warning here. It's just, there's escapism, right? There's the illusion of moving on from something, but you haven't really moved on from it. You've just created some sort of barriers around yourself for escapism. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You're disillusioning yourself, right? From accepting the disappointment of moving on, right? So just be wary of that. Make sure that whatever you're moving on from, you're genuinely moving on from, right? She's even still looking back at the cups, right? It's a matter of letting go of the disappointment. And I think it's a lot of letting go of the disappointment of timelines that you just have to accept aren't going to happen, right? I know I said I wasn't going to read, but I haven't read out of this deck in a long time. Do I have the book down here? Let's see if I can find the book easy, then I'll read it. I guess not. Alright, we got the Zora here, right? And they're upright. And the Zora are three goddesses that take care of the sun god Apollo, right? It's the beginning of a new cycle, right? Apollo is all about education, right? It's the sun. He's pretty much the sun god. He also pulls the sun, right? The chariot. And the Zora are those that take care of him so that he can do these things, right? I got a leap of faith here, right, with beginnings. And this is all about education as well. Tara is also the goddess of education and music. She's the foundation of education and music. So you get the two gods here, right, that are really focused on education, knowledge, acquiring more knowledge, right? And you have fortune here. I pronounce it Lakshmi, but I'm sure that's probably saying it wrong, right? But she's the goddess of fortune. She's the one, like in November, they make lanterns for her in India, right? And that's her husband, right? And that's them together. And then we've got Diana here, right? Oh, man. So you got moving on from the past. You've got God of knowledge, goddess of knowledge, fortune riding together, right? You got Diana the moon, right? But the moon here is a lot about illusions and secrets and things like that, right? Breaking through illusions. But with Diana here in the forest, I always get the image of losing the forest for the trees, right? And I'm even picturing like yesterday when I was picking up the kids from school. I got there early and I was able to see my daughter's class playing, right? And there's multiple teachers in there, right? And my daughter's in there, and I'm watching her and her little friends playing. And then I notice these two little kids, they break off, and they have this little rubber thing, and they're like whacking each other with it. And then one kid straight clotheslines another kid to the ground. They get into a little tough back and forth. The one kid kicks the other kid a couple of times. Nobody says nothing. Nobody notices nothing. Nobody pays attention to nothing. The teachers didn't see anything. I asked my daughter about it when she got in the car later. She didn't know. Nobody noticed. Nobody noticed. I don't know if any other parents in the cars noticed. I don't know if I was the only person who noticed this fight go down the playground. I wasn't going to get out and say anything, right? Not my kids, not my problem. That's terrible, terrible, terrible to say, but in the long run, yeah, there was a big scuffle there, and nobody noticed it. Why? Because they were so engrossed in all the different polarities of chaos of a playground scenario, right? Have you ever watched a playground? It's just a bunch of random, yeah, it's so random. Like, you can't even figure out what these kids are doing half the time, and they shift from playing with each other. It's crazy, insane to watch. But that's kind of what I'm getting, like, that's losing the bigger picture because you're so up close to it. You get the mosaic there, right? Like what? You're missing part of the timeline, or you're not seeing it, or you can't. You're too close to it. To whatever it is. Alright? Too close to it. Alright, we got atonement and we got downcast pride. Atonement, I always get this Ten of Swords image from it, right? She's standing there, she's facing the sun, she's got all these swords in her back, but she's kind of taking it. And I even get kind of the gist of, it's like the immediate karma, like if you've been working on dealing with all these energies, you have to find that there is a little bit of irony of, even if it's like what's happening with you is not quite as dramatic, it might not even be true, but you can see how you kind of did that to somebody else, right? Type deal. And you're like, but in your mind, of course, you're going to justify, but that person was hurting somebody else. I wasn't really, it doesn't matter. Karma comes back around. You have to pay your atonements, right? And you can lay on the ground like the Ten of Swords and be the drama queen card, or you can just stand up, take it, and keep taking that step forward, right? Put the pride down, put the ego down, put the why is this happening to me down. Why is it happening to you? Well, you know, good, bad, or ugly. What? You manifested it all yourself. We all did in some way, shape, or form, right? Now, how do you stay calm? How do you remain grounded in that space? I love it because we got the mountain card here. And for me, with this card, it always reminds me there is, and I forget what it is, it's in one of his mindful living series. He does, Thich Nhat Hanh does a speech where he's talking about a meditation. And it is, I am as strong as a mountain. My waters are as clear as its lakes. And it's talking about how you can't see your true reflection and you can't give a true reflection, right? If you're one of those people who suffer from mirroring, you can't give a true reflection if you're all turbulent, right? You have to be able to remain calm, right? I get an image too. It was a friend of mine or one of the girls in the coven sent me a thing about a dream once, and she was talking about how we were hosting a party. We were in the mountains, right next to a lake, and she said there was something in the mountain or something in the lake that kept banging on the edges and causing the ripples in the water, right? And that's kind of what those inner emotions are. That's your inner shadow. That's essentially your shadow is pretty much, you know, this toddler within you, right? It's the toddler within you. It's that inner child. It's that whatever that didn't get whatever it needed. And it will take any attention over no attention. So it'll take fear over nothing. You know what I'm saying? It will take, you know, pain over nothing, right? Things of that nature. And it'll cause turbulence just to get the attention, right? And it's a matter of you breathing through that, finding your foundations, grounding into, and I mean, you can even take a mountain pose. Is easy to take anywhere. Just ground to your feet, right? Think about it, right? And then just breathe it out. I am as strong as a mountain. My waters are as calm as its lakes, right? I love this. We get the dream. We get the moon. Right? What's the difference between making a dream into an illusion or a reality? You know what I'm saying? If you truly believe thoughts become things, if you truly believe in magic, if you truly believe in intention, if you truly believe that you have the power to create your own life, if you truly believe your future you already exists now, then you need to pick which future you want to be. Right? Because whichever one you pick, they all exist. What? Future you living under a bridge exists, and future you living in a mansion exists. Which one do you want to be? You don't want to be any of those things or either of those things. We got little luxuries, generates luxurious experiences and surroundings. Some people just want to be able to enjoy the little things in life. All right. Let's just see. Any final messages from Spirit before we roll out? Words are spells. Yes, yes, words are spells. Be mindful of what you are speaking into existence. Patience is bitter, but the fruit is sweet, right? Oh, man. You know what's really funny? And I get this with a lot of the childlike cards, right? It's like, if you really, really think back on it, before the world told you that, what, you should want a mansion and a Lamborghini and and live in a house full of, you know, whores and cocaine. What did you want before the world programmed you into thinking that's what was going to make you happy, right? What? Parties are fun simply because they're parties. They're only supposed to be every now and then. They're only supposed to be, you know, I mean, that's what you learn most from watching like rock band documentaries and things like that. What eventually wears them all down is the constant party. You can't constant party. When a child speaks, listen. Ooh, I like that. When a child speaks, listen. That's what I was just talking about. I mean, really think about what you wanted. What did that inner toddler, what did the inner toddler that keeps rocking and causing the ripples in the wave, what did they want? Maybe that's why they're pitching a fit. They're not getting what they wanted. Right? And I think back to way back in the day. And I had, I didn't know that's what it was, but I was big into making collages when I was little. And I lived in this house in New York. It was my grandparents' house. And the way the air conditioner was, it was high up in the wall. And we had our bunk beds up on the edge. And the air conditioner was right next to my bed. So I was able to like put stuff on it, like use it like a little shelf. And it had this little door that opened up that had the controls in it. And we were never allowed to turn it on because that was my grandfather. And we lived in New York, so it was very rarely needed to be turned on. Anyway, I created this little vision board inside of it, right? And to this day, I can still remember that I had put 2 kids in there, a boy and a girl. And that's pretty much what I've got right now, right? And I think about all the little things that I put on that vision board that ended up becoming true, right? So how long did that manifestation take? How long did that manifestation take? Well, that manifestation of my kids took, 15 years or so to go from when I put it in that little vision board to now. All right. What do we got? We got, for every question there is an answer, and for every answer there's just simply another question. And that's just it. That is the definition of what we call the rabbit holes, right? Never underestimate the predictability of stupidity. Right? If you genuinely see, a lot of people are just like, a lot of the predictions that people make aren't just there. I mean, they are messages from spirit that confirm what it is that you're thinking or what it is that's going on. You have a thought or whatever, and it just totally aligns, right? If you know that someone is about to act stupid, and I say this like especially when you're dealing with atonement, what? I know this person is about to act ridiculous. Why? Because I remember when I acted ridiculous. Never underestimate the predictability of stupidity. Why? Because we were all very stupid at one point, right? Most of us still are. Alright, that's all I got for y'all today. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and trippy windy paths with me. I love y'all very much. Buttons and bells, and I'm going to be back just as soon as I can, I promise.